No nation, no nation has ever done anything like it in all of history. Only the United States had the capacity and the will and the ability to do it, and we did it today. The extraordinary success of this mission.
Huge win. Joining me now to talk about that and other things is my friend Drew Berquist. He's a former counterterrorism officer and host of This Is My Show with Drew Berquist. Drew, this was the best airlift ever. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah, I mean, it is for a situation you created. I mean, it's there's so many great analogies that people have put out there. You sink the ship. Well, I mean, let's not even go there. Like this, he says, this is extraordinary. No country's ever done this. You're right. No country has ever ended anything this poorly and then tried to put lipstick on a pig. It's absolutely disastrous. And I smile and we kid right now, but I've never been so furious in my life over the last several weeks, considering, what's happened there, all that I've put in, most of my adult life over there. It's absolutely remarkable that they sit down and said, how do we spin this failure? Let's call it the biggest airlift success in history.
Drew, let's shift gears here and talk about America for a moment. Texas passed this abortion ban today, which is a wonderful thing. Half the country's outraged about it. The other half is thrilled about it. What still binds us as a country? Is there anything? Is there a single value at all that still binds us as a nation?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think if we've probably talked about it on your show before here, if there was, God forbid, another 9/11 type event, which certainly is better positioned to happen now than ever before. Afghanistan's in worse shape than it was pre 9/11. But if that happened, I don't think there would be a rallying cry. I think there'd be a lot of finger pointing, and it would lead to just further division here. There's just literally not much left that brings us together. And we've talked about that too on your show. Like there's almost no desire. Like I sadly, as much as I've served and loved this country, you've served this country, I have no desire to unite with the other side who hates the country and us so much. It's like there's not much left.
How did this happen so fast? Because I agree with everything you just said. And it does, 9/11 was not that long ago, right? I mean, it's 20 years ago. That's not ancient by any means. And I remember, look, I was in the Marine Corps at the time. I remember how much the country rallied. Obviously, it became divisive in the end, but how did we lose it that quickly?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of so many things. Obviously, the mainstream media has ramped up their efforts. Growing up, in the earlier parts of our life and our earlier parts of our adult life, they kind of had it hidden. Their bias was there, but it was hidden. They didn't play their cards so heavy-handed. Now they do. Now they don't care. Now they nominate. They endorse candidates. They attack candidates. It's totally a arm and a proxy group of the left. You've got big tech who's weighed in. There's so many other ways that kind of spread this. And then with big tech and the media, I mean, those two divide us so much, and it's their goal to divide us. So I think that just poured gas on the fire that was already kind of simmering, and now we've got a raging wildfire, and the only way this thing ends is in divorce or a fight or both.
Oh gosh, God forbid that. Okay, let's move on for just a moment and talk a bit more about the election coming up in the midterms. There are so many Republicans out there who seem to think this is going to be an absolute landslide for Republicans, and in normal circumstances, I would agree. But what are the chances you and I are now out of step with the majority of the country, and people aren't nearly as mad as they should be?
I think it's sadly a reasonable odd. Like that's the case. I mean, look, as you said, in a normal circumstance, any other time, regardless of which party's on what side of this catastrophic event that just happened, in this case, we would win. We would win in a landslide. It would be a guarantee. But we are such a hot mess on the Republican side. The GOP is a disaster. And the conservative base is split and is a disaster, you could argue. So there's no unity even on our own side, which brings a lot of concerns to bear when it comes to 2022, which is going to be key to kind of helping right the ship. If we can do that, it'll be a massive win and at least stave off some other kind of chaos and disaster that we don't want in this country. No one should want. But I just don't know that we're unified enough to capitalize and actually make it a win for us.
Okay, is the GOP changing for the better, though? I understand it's a slow process and the GOP in general sucks, but are they improving?
I think we're improving. I think we're definitely improving. I think it's just a slow process. There's a lot of dead weight that's there, a lot of baggage that's been there forever that is very resistant to leaving. So I think that it's just going to be tough. And the question is can we particularly as it pertains to 2022, get enough momentum to change that now. There's great resources, great dollars, great PACs that are getting behind the right candidates that are saying, we don't want any of you establishment types anymore. We want people that love America, are going to stand up and fight and not just play the political game. But again, there's people who are there, who have been there forever, who care about themselves. They always have on both sides of the aisle. They've never cared about you or me or this country. And we've got to get rid of them. It's just a matter of how fast can we do it.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.